Well, the third Saturday in October is upon us, and Jimmy and I are going to go ahead and spoil it for you. We know who wins.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson with the AHSA Radio Network. That's me. Jimmy Stein with Bama Online. That's him. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel, and I'll talk about FanDuel in just a bit. I want to thank you everydayers for joining us every day, and want to thank you newbies because you're always welcome. Jimmy, we already know who's going to win this game. We're going to give our predictions in the second segment. We will talk about that in just a second. But I do right now want to talk about some player predictions. I did the Tennessee crossover. That is out. That was out yesterday because today is Friday, I think. I can't remember when this is going out. I think it's going out Friday. And so, we talked a lot about the game. I think it's going to come down to quarterback play, just like most football games do. But these two quarterbacks, a little similar. I mean, both pretty athletic. Both have made some puzzling decisions and some questionable throws at times in their career. And both of them, well, I would say this, I think Milroe's playing much better than Nico right now. I think Milroe should be playing much better than Nico as a guy who's been in college football a lot longer and started a lot more. But I would say that most people believe Nico is the better quarterback. He's just not playing as well as Milroe. I don't believe that. I'm just saying the perception is Nico is a great quarterback. He just hadn't gotten there yet. I don't know why we've anointed him that, but that's the way it is. In the end, which quarterback do you think plays better? Is it Milroe or Nico?
I think Milroe should play better. I mean, I think Milroe should be the guy that plays better. Now, who knows if that's actually what's going to happen? But Jalen Milroe is the more proven college football player. Jalen is certainly a guy that's in the Heisman discussion for this year. Nico is more like in the Heisman discussion for 2025. And I think, this is a developmental sport. And hey, if you ask me, okay, the year is 2034, who's the better quarterback, Nico Iamleava or Jalen Milroe? I might go Nico. I might, because I really like Nico's projection, Nico's upside. I do, but that has nothing to do with Saturday in Knoxville. It's about who's the best quarterback now. Jalen is a redshirt junior. Nico's a redshirt freshman. Milroe's just a more dynamic college player, even though Nico might have that NFL talent, with his arm. I think Jalen Milroe will outplay Nico, and I do think that's a major factor in the prediction that I'll make later. Nope, mute. You're in a bit of a mute slump.
I'm in a mute. I mean, you get the yips on podcasts.
You did good for a long time, and
I know
lately,
it's been tough. It's been tough.
You're getting older.
I'm getting older. Aren't we all? Just as one comedian said, somebody showed me a picture the other day of when I was younger. I said, isn't every picture of when you were younger? That's a good point. All right. Let me ask this. So we agree, Milroe, better quarterback right now. We're not saying for the future or whatever. Because frankly, I'm not sure I do take Nico for the future. I'm just saying.
I'm not sure either, but I think I would. But
I think the perception is Nico is going to be better. Nico's ceiling is going to be higher than Milroe's ceiling eventually.
In terms of pro football. I agree. I think I would agree with that.
Okay. My question is this. Is that offset in this game because Tennessee's defense is also perceived to be better than Alabama's defense? And so, meaning, does it bring the average to where it should be? Like, okay, these two are kind of evenly matched.
I think that's a great question, a great point. I agree. I mean, Tennessee's defense is better than Alabama's. Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it's a point of frustration for Alabama fans, but those are simple statistical facts. Now, I do think Alabama might have played a slightly tougher schedule, maybe, and Alabama's played Georgia and did give up a lot of points and yards in one half of that game anyway. I think Tennessee's defense is a little better than Alabama's, and Tennessee's defense is more likely to defend Milroe better than most, and that's going to blunt some of Milroe's effectiveness. But Alabama's defense certainly has its moments. They're going to have their wins, and it'll be interesting. This might be a little bit slightly different looking defense than what Nico has faced. Alabama, they're not gimmicky in any way, but Alabama's defense is a little different than the standard SEC defense, and that might present some challenges for Nico. So I still say advantage Alabama, but that is a good point. Tennessee's defense is high quality. I think it's one of the top 2 in the SEC this year, along with Texas. So far, might change by the end of the year, but a halfway point, those are the 2 best defenses in the league.
All right. Then let me throw this in there. Do you feel like when I read you these stats and scores, let's see if you change your opinion about their defense. Okay. So Tennessee wins their first 3 games, 69-3, 51-10, and 71-0. Okay. So they give up 13 points in 3 games. The 4th game, they give up 15 points to a rather anemic Oklahoma offense that we know is rather anemic now. At the time, we didn't know they were anemic. We thought they were okay, and they should, but now they made a quarterback change in that Tennessee game, by the way.
That sets a bar for Alabama. I mean, score 15 or that's pretty bad. Exactly. Oklahoma scored 15.
Yeah, with a quarterback change in the middle of it.
Right.
Now, the next game, they give up 19 to an Arkansas squad that's not bad offensively, but they're certainly not super dynamic, and they are coached by Bobby Petrino, and I think that should count for something.
And Taylor Green is a similar player to Milroe. Similar. Now Milroe's better. Oh,
Milroe's definitely better. Now,
but Taylor Green presents that athletic quarterback issue.
Okay, and then they give up 17 in a 23-17 overtime win against Florida. When, if you watch that game, Florida was also at the goal line one other time. At least they were in the red zone, I think 3 or 4 times, didn't get any points because they either fumbled or went for it or missed a field goal, whatever. And so all of a sudden, and by the way, Florida lost their starting quarterback in the 3rd quarter of that game. So my question is this: are you still as high on the Tennessee defense, knowing that they played 3 offenses that are, Arkansas is probably the best of those 3 offenses?
Yep. I still am high on it in the sense that, yes, those are all good points about how, hey, when they started playing legit teams, they started giving up points, but you just went over and they gave up 15, 17 to 19 points. So no one's hit 20 yet. Alabama's going to have to score in the 20s to win this game. That's one thing I'm very adamant about. Alabama's not going to win a game 17-13. I don't believe that. What I believe is that Alabama's got to score in the 20s to win the game, and no one has done that. But I also believe Alabama's the best offense they faced. You made a good point about, hey, they've played 3 SEC teams, but all of these teams really struggle on offense, and Alabama really doesn't. And that's true. I know some Alabama fans out there are like, what do you mean we don't struggle on offense? Well, Alabama's averaging 41 points a game. That's the 3rd best number in the SEC. Alabama's offense has been good. I agree that it's maybe a little off the last week or 2, but this is the best offense Tennessee's faced. Alabama's got to score in the 20s to win, and I believe they will. I believe they will score in the 20s.
All right, y'all. I'm going to tell you about this, and you're going to listen because, look, you can trust. I was going to say Uncle Luke. I don't think I need to say Uncle Luke. I'm not Uncle Luke. He's a rapper. But you know what I mean. You can trust me. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer. We're all going to get through this, guys. Giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Look, Hims is just is changing men's healthcare. I'm telling you, by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints and Viagra and Cialis and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is 100% online, and there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's hims.com/lockedon, HIMS.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/lockedon. The products mentioned are chewable compound products, which are not approved or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. That live read was made even more awkward by the long pause between me finishing and trying to find the ending, locked on clip thing. Jimmy and I are just seemingly staring into each other's eyes, and I know people were like,
oh, God.
I'm sorry.
No
I'm going to take this off. Okay. So, Jimmy, how about if I told you this? We're going to talk a few player things, and then I want to get your score prediction because I do want to mention some basketball stuff at the end. How about this? Jalen Milroe has 2 more completions than Nico Iamleava.
I was really good with it, and now I won't be. So I'm not going to say it right now. Nico.
Jalen has 2 more completions than Nico
Iamleava.
And he also has 11 fewer attempts. He also has 260 yards more passing. He has 5 more touchdowns passing. And he does have 1 more interception, but boy, I'm a little shocked that he's outperforming him that much. But he seems to be, and I would argue Alabama's strength of schedule has been tougher than Tennessee's.
There's this small minority of Alabama fans that would trade Milroe for Nico right now, and
they're dumb. I mean, that's just dumb.
It's insanity, really. And Nico's going to be a heck of a player. Milroe's had a good year. He is in the top 10 in virtually every Heisman straw poll, and that award is not awarded by Alabama fans. That's awarded by national analysts and experts and people who know this game with an unbiased point of view as it relates to Alabama players. And I mean, he's a legitimate candidate to be considered the most outstanding player in college football. He's a big reason that Alabama's got a chance to win this game, and I think Milroe's going to play well. Somebody said the other day about, boy, we'll really see how they do going into a challenging road environment. Wisconsin was a challenging road environment. I mean, that's a giant stadium with a ton of Wisconsin fans that at least started the game fired up. And it's not as daunting as Knoxville. I mean, I get that. That's 100% true.
Let me say,
it's a real road game.
Let me interrupt you. I went to Wisconsin. It was fine, but it was 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Wisconsin was like, their fans may disagree with me. I got the overwhelming sense that we're so happy to be in this spotlight with you guys. Yeah. And when it was 3-0 Wisconsin or whatever at the very beginning, they were like, oh, this is kind of cool. But as I showed you my screenshot of that kid who sent a text to his friend of his, it goes, as soon as we scored a touchdown, it's over. Bama's too good. So, I mean,
a lot of the wind went out of that stadium. I was just on TV, watching on TV, but you could tell the oxygen got sucked out of that stadium when Tyler Van Dyke got hurt too. I mean, I think Wisconsin fans universally gave up when that happened, and that was pretty early in the game. I'm just saying this team has gone on the road to a big stadium with a lot of opposing fans, and they played pretty well at Wisconsin. I mean, 42-10, right? So Milroe's played in these big road games last year. I do think it's a thing, and it may affect Alabama to a degree, but I expect Alabama to play better. And biggest thing here to me is Kalen DeBoer's track record. If you look back at what he did at Washington last year, he was good in the big games and struggled on the road especially, but struggled against teams Washington should have beaten by 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they barely scraped by. Maybe this is a pattern with DeBoer coach teams, but the good news for Saturday is he did well in the big games last year at Washington, and so far at Alabama has done well in the big games so far.
going to be very interesting in the sense that Alabama's got 3 huge games coming up. I mean, the Tennessee game is obviously huge, and then Missouri. Look, I don't know what. I guess we can do some SEC predictions. We'll throw in SEC predictions on the third segment. For whatever reason, that Auburn Missouri line is dropping. It went from 7 to about 4.5. I don't understand that, and so it worries me. But you know what? I've also made the claim last week. Well, somebody must know something I don't, because Alabama's still a 21.5-point favorite over South Carolina. No, they didn't do anything I didn't know. And so, we'll talk about those in a second. But we got 3 straight huge games with Tennessee, Missouri, and then an off week, and then LSU, obviously. And LSU, by the way, they got to go at 2 Arkansas and 2 Texas A&M. And my advice to all Bama fans is pull for Arkansas and pull for Texas A&M so that LSU's a little deflated coming into the Bama game. That's my advice. What's probably going to happen is LSU splits those games and then comes in, and that's going to be an incredible ball.
Are they at College Station?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're at Arkansas and at College Station.
It's going to be tough.
I say this all the time to people. College Station is a very tough place to win games. Jimbo Fisher was winning games in College Station. He couldn't win games on the road. But, I like Alabama. I know we're not – I guess we're to the point where we can say I've got Alabama beating Tennessee, Luke. I think a week ago I might have gone the other way. I think during the South Carolina game and during parts of it, I was ready to pick Tennessee to win this game. And Tennessee, they may very well win. They're going to be very tough to beat. And as far as Alabama, hey, if Georgia was playing at Tennessee this weekend, I would say, watch out, Georgia. If Texas, who I've picked to win the national championship, was playing at Tennessee this weekend, I go, Longhorns, this might not be your day. It's a tough place up there. So, hey, I'm not picking on Alabama when I say they might not win. Tennessee, particularly with as rabid as they get for this game, they're going to be a tough out for anyone that plays college football this weekend. But I think Alabama wins for a couple of reasons, and they're this. I like Milroe over Nico. We've already talked about that in terms of who's going to play best this weekend. But I also think I foresee this game being a game of big plays. I don't think either team will have a lot of success with the long drives. And I realize Alabama's given up long drives to Vanderbilt and South Carolina, but this is a different game. This is a different scenario. I think I'll give Tennessee, okay, you get 1 or 2 drives that result in scores or touchdowns. But that's it. I think big plays decide this game, and Jalen Milroe throwing the ball to Ryan and Jeremy Bernard is more likely to make a big play, in my opinion, than Tennessee is with Dylan Sampson as their primary weapon. So I like big play Alabama to squeak it out 24-21 in yet another classic in the series.
All right. Well, my prediction's already out there for the crossover, but I'm going to stick with it 30-24 Bama. Again, because I do like Milroe more than Nico right at the moment. And it's so funny. Whenever if we predicted Alabama wins this game 18-17, people would go, "Oh, Luke and Jimmy, y'all are just so cocky." We're not cocky. We think Tennessee has a shot in this. But it's a zero-sum game. You pick one or the other. And I'm picking Alabama because I think Alabama is playing a little better. I think Alabama is a little more battle-tested. I do think that the environment could have a factor. I am worried about Kalen DeBoer's first SEC road trip. Don't bring up Vanderbilt. There were 85% Alabama fans. Vandy had to get on their cell phones and call their butlers to come help them move the goalposts when they tore them down. So don't do that. This is the first road game, and I think it's the first road game even over something like Wisconsin. I think this is going to be pretty raucous, but a lot of Alabama players, first of all, I don't think Ryan Williams will get shaken at all because he doesn't get shaken. I don't think Jalen Milroe will get shaken because he's played in some pretty incredible moments when you think about 4th and 31 and Jordan Hare. Now, he didn't play incredibly well until that play, but he did play. He did have the completion that won it. So, I'm going Alabama 30-24. I'm unapologetic for it. I think it's going to be pretty tight. But in the end, that's what it is. Now, when Jimmy and I get back to this next segment, we're going to talk a little basketball because there's a big scrimmage tonight. We're also going to break down a few of the other and predict the other SEC games. But I'm going to tell you about FanDuel because I love it and you love it. It's great. NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's only, and I mean only, at FanDuel.com, which, of course, as I've told you many a time, is America's #1 sports book. I'm going to be honest. I feel like I read the FanDuel live read more enthusiastically than the Hims read.
Well, I breathed during the FanDuel. I was breathing.
It wasn't heavy breathing. It wasn't painful, was it?
No, I was a little nervous during that.
Should we talk about this off air with a therapist? Or?
I was nervous for us.
What's this? Well, I guess it should be for us. I'm reading it, but people are going to be looking at your facial expressions while I'm reading it.
I was hot for the first time ever during a live read. I was aware of that. I was very aware. Not to. Hey, but what a great product for real.
Big Bama basketball scrimmage at Boutwell Auditorium tonight. It only seats like 2,000 people or something low. I don't know how many it seats, but I'll say it's 2,000. I know a lot of you out there going. The tickets are like $300 and something a piece. I'm hoping to go myself. I don't know that I am, but I'm going to try. I'm super excited about it. Everything surrounding basketball right now is incredible. The vibe, the feeling, and there is a part of me, old Bama basketball Luke, that is a little worried that eventually we're going to be let down here. But then I remind myself, we went to the Final Four last year, and you made a promise to yourself that if we ever did that, you're not going to be down about the basketball team anymore for any reason. And that's the way I'm going to treat this. I'm going to treat this. I want to have fun on this vine swing we're doing right now. In the middle of the college basketball jungle, we're swinging on a vine. We're way up high. We've got our harnesses on. Everything's great. And I'm not going to sit there and worry about one of the C clamps busted. I'm just not going to do it. Is that what you call those things, the C clamps that you hook up, whatever? I don't know. Doesn't matter. So,
yeah, I'm going to laugh at the negative. There will be rough moments for this basketball team because this is, the best way I can explain it is sports. Sports. I mean, it doesn't work out like everybody thinks all the time. If so, it wouldn't be called gambling. It would be called winning because we just know what would happen. No one knows what's going to happen. There will be some rough moments for this basketball team and some bad games and some bad shooting nights, or it won't go well. And I'm going to literally laugh at all negativity all season long because this team will be evaluated in 6 games that happen in March, and that's it. Anything that happens between now and March is practically irrelevant. Now, in reality, it's not because seeding matters. Confidence matters. All those things matter. SEC championships matter. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying that when we talk about this basketball team for the rest of our lives, we're talking about those 6 games in March. And last year, during the season, there was a ton of negativity about our defense. And I would read comments about how our guys don't care because they don't play defense hard. And I don't like this team. And yeah, it ended up being the most successful Alabama team of all time. So that's why during this long regular season, I'm going to laugh at negativity. And I'm also not going to be crazy about, hey, nights when it all clicks, Luke. I know this for a fact. On nights that it all clicks, we're going to look like the Boston Celtics.
We're going to blow through the hell.
We'll look like the Celtics when it's all clicking. And the fans that get super cocky, I don't know that I'll comment about it. But say it doesn't matter that we just beat Tennessee by 38. This team's going to be judged on those 6 games in March, and that's it. So that's a position that Nate Oates has put us in, and I think it's incredible, and I'm happy about that. But the regular season has just gotten a little less relevant, I guess is the way to put it.
All right, so let's talk a little the other SEC games tomorrow. There are some good ones. This is where the SEC shines. Like a weekend like this, like nobody else can compete with a weekend like this because everything's got drama. Obviously, Bama, Tennessee is a big deal. We'll leave Georgia, Texas for the end. Auburn, Missouri. A lot of people won't find drama in it, I guess, but I do because, number one, I'm going to be rooting for Missouri. There's no doubt. But I am intrigued to see if Hugh Freeze can go get a win. He needs a win. He needs a win against somebody that's got a pulse. And for whatever reason, that line has been dropping. I still think Missouri's the better team. It's at Missouri, but it's an 11 o'clock game. I don't really know what that's going to mean. But in the end, I mean, until Peyton Thorne doesn't throw crucial interceptions, I'm going to predict he throws crucial interceptions. So I'm going to say Missouri wins this by maybe 7 points.
And yeah, I think Missouri's going to win too. And I think Missouri's going to win by 10 or more. And this is why. And I mean, it's kind of a hard thing to say. And believe me, Missouri's 22 football players are better than Auburn's 22 football players. They have more dudes than Auburn's got. They got more talent than Auburn's got in that starting 22. Now that might change if Auburn continues to rack up commitments like they're, but it ain't changed yet. And Brady Cook and Luther Burden and Theo Wees and they got some dudes on defense. And Missouri's going to win the game. Same reason I picked Alabama to beat Tennessee. I think Alabama's got a little more juice in the starting lineup than Tennessee. And that's why I picked Alabama. I think Missouri's got more juice than Auburn in terms of the players that are on the field. Missouri.
By the way, and we got to go through the rest of these quickly, but by the way, I think Drinkwitz needs a win too. And getting upset here after being blown out by A&M would not be a good look for him. So I feel like he definitely needs this game. South Carolina at Oklahoma, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm going to tell you something. This is an interesting game, and I'm invested because I want South Carolina to do it. I want them to go in there and beat Oklahoma pretty well, and I want it. It'll make Alabama look a little better. Yeah, Alabama's got to play Oklahoma later too, but I'm fine if Oklahoma is completely disheartened by the time we get to them.
If this was in Columbia, I would feel almost certain South Carolina was going to win the game. But it's not. It's on the road. But I think South Carolina is going to win because I have more confidence in South Carolina's ability to score. Oklahoma's defense is really good, though. I think low scoring South Carolina finds a way, wins something like 17-13.
All right. LSU at Arkansas. Like you said, everybody's going to be picking Arkansas to win. I kind of am picking Arkansas to win. I'm going to say Arkansas squeaks out a close one, but I know you're going the other way.
No, I'm actually not. I'm picking Arkansas to win too. I'm jumping on the bandwagon. It's just the script, right? This is the script where the underdog wins the game, and I'm going to stick with the script. It just makes me nervous when more people. This is funny. LSU's favored to win the game, right? But more people are picking Arkansas to win. So seems to me that LSU's the underdog if more people are picking Arkansas to win the game. But no, I think Arkansas wins at home. They're just good enough to win at home, and LSU will have the slight letdown after the overtime. And Arkansas is tough to play. I mean, it's a year I'm glad Alabama's not going on the road to play Arkansas because they're going to make plays against anybody.
And finally, Georgia, Texas. I mean, look, the money's coming in on Texas right now. Apparently, the line's gone up to 5.
Yeah.
Kind of bananas. I'm going to tell you something, Jimmy. I think the way this college football season has played out, this has Georgia winning it written all over it. I'm going to pick Georgia to win. I'm not super confident, but I picked Georgia to win.
I'm going to pick Texas to win just because I've been riding that horse. I picked them to win the national championship and the SEC, and I think they've played better than Georgia so far this year, and it's at home. I like Texas to win, but anyone that is surprised by a Georgia win just doesn't watch enough college football. I mean, Georgia can beat anyone, any place, anywhere. If they play that second half like they did against Alabama for 60 minutes against Texas, they'll win. Carson Beck's one heck of a football player. It's a great NFL matchup. Carson Beck versus Quinn Ewers, NFL dudes all over the field. I think Texas wins and is considered at this point in the year easily the best team in college football for right now. It's a long season, and they will Texas will hit a point this season where they all of a sudden don't play well. That's college football.
Yes or no, is part of you hoping Georgia wins only because that stat out there that only Alabama's beaten Georgia? They're the only team that beaten Georgia, and they've beaten them 3 times out of the last 50 games they played or whatever. That is kind of a cool stat.
Oh, no doubt. The playoff committee really looks deep into metrics, and like Vanderbilt beating Kentucky helped. Heck, Western Kentucky winning last night against 5-1 Sam Houston helped Alabama. I'm all for whatever helps Alabama. Texas sitting on the schedule. Georgia is. Alabama beat Georgia, so Alabama fans should want Georgia to win the game.
I'm also intrigued that you have no idea what a yes or no question means.
Oh, I'm a lawyer. I might not be practicing law anymore, but I'm still a lawyer.
All right, that's going to do it.
Ask yes or no questions. I just don't answer them.
Tomorrow, Jimmy, after the game, we're going to try and go like a post-game show like we always do.
Oh, yeah, sure. 30 minutes after the game, we'll be here.
All right, until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.